Welcome everybody to the Assuminati podcast.
Welcome everyone. Thanks for listening.
Hey.
All right. Well, let's get ready to rumble, everybody.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah.
Let's get ready. Or should I say, in the words of The Rock, it's time.
Jeez.
And then he said it's time over and over, and then he kind of stole Bruce Buffer. And anyway.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb.
Yeah, so go back, channel your inner rock, and let's get started here. It's time.
It's time.
It is time to find some pants that actually fit The Rock, too. I think we need to help him. And yet, I'd never say that to his face because he's a beautiful man and he's bigger than me.
You don't like that look?
I love him. I love him.
He looked like an idiot.
I love Mayo. Yeah, it wasn't my jam.
It's about drive.
It's about drive. It is about drive, Matt. So speaking of drives, thank you everybody for listening to last week's episode on Olympic scandals. Again, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, you name it. You can find us on your everywhere device. We are everywhere, including YouTube. This week, it is about drive. Drives.
It's about drive. It's about power.
It's about the NFL and the game that just happened, the big one, the Super Bowl. Except we're not here to talk about.
There was a game?
There's a little
over the weekend, big one.
So on that note, Bobby, really what it was there was a concert. I don't know if you heard about that. There was an Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg concert, and a football game broke out at the concert.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So, I saw that.
They like to monetize that. There were also commercials, which is what we're talking about today, is the commercials of the Super Bowl, what most people watch the Super Bowl for anyway. We'll talk about what you think of the commercials as well, some of your comments from online. So what we're going to do, let's give you a little, Bobby, you're a cook, man. What were you eating as you were watching the game?
I had some of Bobby's world famous queso dip and some tortillas.
Is that trademarked, sir? Is that?
It is. Yes.
Yeah, you can't say Bobby's world.
Bobby's world famous queso.
Don't you know?
No.
Yeah, we're gonna get pulled off.
It's Bobby's world famous queso.
Oh, I see.
Not Bobby's world.
Yeah, it's a play on words.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had a little of that. I cooked up a couple of ribeye steaks. I had 3 different kinds of smoked wings.
Oh,
and we had Rice Krispie treats, and then a whole crap ton of candy.
My invite got lost in the mail.
Yeah, that's about what we did.
Well, you know,
we had some
bite
nachos
this year.
Sounds delicious.
Well, I was supposed to be invited to my brother's house for the Super Bowl, and I got uninvited on Friday. So I had to throw together a party real quick because he decided he'd been too sick to plan a Super Bowl party. So he ruined everyone's Super Bowl.
Well,
or did he? Maybe he saved you from
and
getting sick.
Delivered.
Maybe it was a blessing.
Yeah,
Well,
might have been a blessing in disguise.
That food sounds amazing, and that is what Americans do on Super Bowl Sunday.
America.
You make food, you eat food, and you watch either the game, the halftime show, the commercials, or all three. You take it all in. You take it all in. So let me give you some fun facts on Super Bowl Sunday to set up our conversation about commercials and kind of set up the demographic that these people who create the commercials are shooting at, the demographics that they're aiming these commercials at. So 14 people on average attend a Super Bowl party as far as how many people show up to a singular Super Bowl party, if that makes sense. So on average,
it's about what we had.
Okay. I think that makes sense for a lot of people.
Sure.
As you go there, this is the second largest eating day of the year for America.
That makes sense.
Behind
Thanksgiving, I suppose.
That's exactly right. Except the caloric intake is higher than Thanksgiving. You're averaging about 8,000 calories. Did you guys hit it? Did you guys make that? Did you guys make the mark?
Easily.
Minimum.
I did too, for sure.
I think I delivered on the assignment.
Very nice. He understood the assignment and he followed through. Gold star for you. Now, Americans eat about 1.4 billion wings on Super Bowl Sunday.
Wow.
10 million pounds of ribs, 8 million pounds of guacamole in its many forms, 11 million pounds of chips.
Were they from Mexico?
Okay, we'll talk about that one. 49 million.
That was a good commercial.
That was a good one. 49 million cases of beer on the wall for a total of 1.2.
Take one down, pass it around.
48 million cases of beer on the wall.
38,999,999 on the wall.
Eating $1.2 billion
38 million,
on beer alone. I thought
Wow.
that was interesting. So we love to eat, but think about the commercial potential here, the advertising potential when you know that, when you understand what Americans are consuming. Well, now you know where to put your money and what companies are interested in advertising to these people. All right. So millions and millions of cases of beer on the wall. We love to eat. They love to advertise to us to eat and to make their food a tradition on Super Bowl Sunday every year. I mean, think about the sales. If that's the second biggest eating day of the year, that's a big deal.
For sure.
Even if you don't watch the game, the food is typically something to look forward to. So let's talk about these advertisers and what they use to target us with. Let's start with the money. Let's start with the money. How much does a 30-second ad during Super Bowl Sunday cost nowadays? Just 30 seconds.
$10 billion.
Just 30 seconds.
1 billion. Hey, that was another one.
That's right. That's right.
Man.
So this year it was $6.5 to $7 million for a 30-second ad, depending on the timing of the ad. We know that some ad slots are more lucrative than others.
That's
for
incredible.
example, the very first commercial is always the most expensive commercial.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
So everybody sits down for kickoff and then boom, they go to commercial. They know the entire world's watching at that moment. Some of the other more expensive slots are the 2-minute warnings for the first and second half. Those are very expensive slots.
Right.
Least expensive being halftime. That's when you see all of your local ads show up because everybody's going to the bathroom and testing the plumbing and the city plumbing, putting it to the test. So some of these people spent $6.5 million for 30 seconds. So keep that in mind as we go through this, which translated last year to $545 million for CBS last year.
Wow.
Yikes. 22%.
Let me ask you,
go ahead.
what was the average ticket price to get into the Super Bowl? Because there were 70,000 people there, right?
That's unreal. It was the $5,000 to $6,000 range, I believe, right?
So times that by 70,000.
Unreal.
just in ticket sales. Think about that. It's ridiculous. Anyway, carry on.
And then the aftermarket on those are just ridiculous. You're talking
totally.
10,000. Okay, 22% of Super Bowl viewers say the commercials are the best part of the show. Forget the game, forget the halftime show. I'm here for the commercials. Say almost a fourth of the viewers.
Interesting.
Let's see. Some other things to look at here. So according to USA Today Ad Meter, which is a generally trusted measuring of how effective these commercials are, they state that Super Bowl ads are 20 times more effective than a typical TV ad. 20 times. You got 20 times the eyeballs.
20 times the price.
20 times the price and the budget. Yeah, so all of that makes sense. For example, Anheuser-Busch has spent on Super Bowl ads since 2006. How much money do you want to guess? Since 2006.
I'm going to go with 999 million.
Almost 1 billion. Okay.
You guys are shooting over the moon here. Cut that in half.
500 million?
$482 million since 2006.
Wow.
That is a lot of cheddar.
It's a lot of money.
Just a couple.
Well, fun fact, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Coca-Cola was not to be seen last year or this year. So this is the second year Coke pulled out. Pepsi sponsors the halftime show. Yeah. So they've definitely put their money into an effective area. So 65% of Americans say funny Super Bowl ads are what they prefer. Are you guys on that boat?
Yeah, that's what I prefer for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Make it funny. That's all I got to say.
Don't give me something sentimental.
I'm not here to feel. Yep. I'm here to laugh and eat food and hit my 8,000 calorie mark. Yep. Okay, so 100 million people, give or take a million here, watch the Super Bowl last year and this year is what they're estimating. So that's a lot of viewership, ton of money, a lot of things to target.
For sure.
So on that note, we're going to break down some categories of Super Bowl commercials. We've reviewed them for you. Maybe we'll inspire you to go back and watch them. So the categories we're going to run through today, we're going to go through the most effective Super Bowl commercial, the least effective Super Bowl commercial, our overall favorite of the year. And then at the end, we got a little treat for you. We're going to talk about our most, we will talk about our favorite of all time Super Bowl commercials. So we're going to get historic on you and bring out some oldies but goodies. Again, most of these it can be found on YouTube. You can easily go find these. So let's first break down the most effective, your pick for the most effective 2022 Super Bowl commercial. Uncle Buffalo Bobby is going to lead the way and give us his pick for the most effective commercial of 2022.
Yeah, one of the hot themes throughout the Super Bowl was commercials around cryptocurrency. And one of my favorite commercials, but I'm going to label it the most effective, was a commercial by FTX. And they are a marketplace for cryptocurrency. But I felt like this was a really creative and an effective way to make you think. So Larry David, he's a comedian, for those of you who don't know. He starred in this commercial as a time-traveling skeptic. And he was shutting down ideas left and right.
I call it the wheel.
I don't think so. This is a miss.
The will, the fork, the toilet, voting, the light bulb, going to the moon, a portable cassette player. And finally, when it comes up about crypto, he's like, nope, not going to work out. So I thought this was really effective in making you think of, I've heard so many people, I myself have said crypto is stupid. It's not going to work out. Why would you put your money there? But then when you think about it, there was people saying the will was a dumb idea or the light bulb. So maybe we should consider it. So very effective commercial, in my opinion.
Pretty good pick. Not going to lie.
Oh, what do you mean? What do you? Okay, that's my Larry David. Sorry.
That's pretty accurate.
Very good impression.
Right?
That's pretty good. And speaking of crypto, is that what Snoop Dogg was repping at the halftime show, or is that Crip? He's a Crip.
Crip. The Crip walk.
Not crypto. Oh,
yeah, Crip.
Okay.
No, okay. So let's celebrate some death.
That was the predecessor to crypto.
Maybe he can do a crypto walk and represent.
Perhaps.
Speaking of crypto, though,
our next episode.
Woo!
Stay tuned to the Assuminati podcast. Keep following us and keep liking us. And next week, we're going to break down cryptocurrency, how it works, and everything. Brandon is a genius with cryptocurrency. In fact, he's ordering $1 billion in his account right now.
Yeah, this is just all a front, people. I'm really a crypto billionaire. Speaking of crypto, I'm gonna give my pick next, if that's okay, because it has to do with crypto as well. The commercial the commercial I felt was most effective was voted either number one or dead last by most of the lists that I saw, and it was the Coinbase floating QR code commercial.
Yeah, interesting.
So
I thought it was brilliant.
First of all, it confused everybody. Is this really a commercial? Is this really happening? Did this company just spend $6.5 million on this? Well, they spent twice that because it was
times that by 2.
It was a 60-second ad,
right,
on top of whatever it took to create that thing. So this is playing on nostalgia. For those of you who remember old DVDs, it would time out. The icon would bounce around, and if you stare at it long enough, you'd swear that icon hits perfectly into the corner of your screen. And so that's what they were playing on is, okay, first of all, there's a QR code to scan. Any fans of The Office, there's an episode that addresses this as well. They're sitting there staring at this floating object. And then at the very end of the commercial, it does in fact hit the corner of the screen and flashes an old school looking MS-DOS era screen. and you can barely see the word Coinbase right there in the middle of the screen. And so they said, as far as why is it least effective? Well, it ticked a lot of people off. It confused a lot of people. I even heard a podcast today. They were convinced it was Pong. Now, this was they were an older generation podcast. They said, "Oh, you remember that QR code?
Obviously,
this is Pong." I mean, they were serious. I thought they were joking. So some generations thought it was a play on Pong, but no, it was in fact nostalgia from the '90s Windows era.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I hit the corner. And if I was at a sports bar or at a big party, I can picture a party yelling and rooting for that thing to hit the corner. I think it could have been a fun commercial in a huge group. Now, was it effective? Was it not effective? Stats would tell you it was effective. I think, Bobby, you found a little something that happened during the commercial, I believe.
Yeah, they had so much traffic to their website and their app that it actually shut them down temporarily, where people couldn't access the site due to the influx of traffic.
So say you were confused, say you hated the commercial. Was it effective?
It was effective. Obviously, if it drove that much traffic to their website, clearly they made a good decision, their marketing team.
I'm seeing some comments on my Facebook post. We've got my brother-in-law went on, grabbed his free $15 that they were promising, like a smart young man. I went later. I visited the website. I didn't scan the code because I was too busy rooting for it to hit the corner. But I myself went to Coinbase.com to check it out. So was it effective? Yeah.
I went.
And it continues to be.
I did not. Nothing touches me.
Okay. Well, let's move on to Can't Touch This, Mr. MC Hammer himself.
Whoa.
Can't touch this.
2/3 ain't bad, though, Matt. 2/3.
That's true. 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. You're right.
What you got for most effective?
I'm going with the Irish Spring commercial. Oh. I thought that commercial was pretty effective because I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking about getting in the shower and getting all fresh. And, the guy comes into a paradise in Irish Spring and they tell him how bad that he smells and they need to bathe him. And he, of course, goes and it's like, the guy's seems all fresh and they dress him in the same clothes and dance around. And I'm still thinking about that commercial. So I think for me, that was pretty darn effective.
It was like a cult of fresh. And they got him in.
It was very nice.
But I will say, let me just say, though, that none of the commercials really, really hit me. Maybe, I thought the Coinbase one was just okay. I thought all of the commercials were kind of just okay. None of them were like years past. And we'll talk about that later. But
yeah, that
was my most effective for this pick.
And I'll admit, I had to go back and watch that one again when I was watching it live during the commercial. It kind of confused me. Like, what am I really looking at here? This cult of people judging this stinky man. Okay, it's so commercial. Yeah, I kind of had to rewatch it. It's clever. If you go back and give it another chance. Okay, I think those are 3 very effective, you could argue, arguably very effective commercials. Another one might have been the Avocados from Mexico ad. That was kind of my honorable mention. The reason I mentioned that one, this is really interesting. Earlier that morning, the U.S. government shut down all imports of avocados from Mexico. Just that, right before the Super Bowl.
Interesting timing.
I'm glad, though, they waited to shut it down until after we'd all bought our avocados for our guacamole.
Yeah, so if you were planning, you bought your avocados weeks ago.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Maybe not weeks ago, a couple days ago.
Exactly. So, I just thought it's all because of mafia and drug cartel threats that are happening down at the plant inspectors down there. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. It was a funny commercial with Andy Richter. It's worth another watch. Tailgating at the Coliseum back in Roman days. Thought that was clever. Okay. Well, let's move on to what Matt was talking about. So maybe you're thinking or feeling the same way that Matt's feeling about these commercials. Maybe you felt like it was a down year. So let's talk about the least effective ad that you felt aired during the Super Bowl. Buffalo?
All of them.
Okay. Why don't you lead us? Maybe Bob's got it. What you got, Bob?
Well, I will say I thought the commercials were better today than they were Sunday.
Okay, I agree.
They aged well.
I agree.
But the commercial that I felt, and I'm going to give my vote for least effective, was not because I didn't enjoy the commercial, but I didn't feel like I walked away wanting to buy this company's product based on the ad. So this commercial was all about insulting Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, and had my favorite man of all time, Matthew McConaughey,
Okay.
flying around in a hot air balloon, talking about how, you know, the opportunities here, you don't need to go off into space and all this stuff. But they're promoting this thing about Team Earth. And then I'm thinking, this is from Salesforce. And I know what Salesforce offers as a company. And I wasn't connecting how Team Earth had anything to do with the Salesforce product. So that's why I'm going to say it was least effective. But it was probably very effective in insulting some of our rich friends that want to fly off to space and live in the metaverse.
I thought that was interesting. I counted 3 commercials on Sunday that took shots at Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. I thought that was really
a bunch
interesting.
of haters out there for sure. All these companies are not liking that because he's taking a piece of their pie.
All that free publicity for those two as well. No, are you a Salesforce fan in general, Bob? Do you like their product?
In my line of work, you know, I've seen what they offer. We don't currently use it, but I've sat down with them several times, and it's compelling. But I don't think they're going to save Earth.
It's semi-effective, but the commercial's not really changing your mind about it. I get it. Least effective. Cool. My pick was the very first Bud Light commercial. If you remember that in the first quarter, it was called Bud Light Next. Zero in the way of possibility. And it was a rave. It was this weird blue people on a planet that was exploding with color, and it was kind of a cool looking commercial, but I had no idea what they were trying to advertise.
They were trying to advertise beer,
right? But this was like a seltzer Bud Lighty type drink. I can't even tell you what kind of a Bud Light they were advertising. Pandora, that's what I'm thinking of Avatar. It reminded me of like a rave that would happen on Pandora during the movie Avatar.
It was interesting for sure.
I just think it fell flat. They spent a ton of money making the commercial, and then they were advertising during one of the most expensive slots of the Super Bowl. So they blew tens of millions of dollars on this thing. And I just don't think they hit the mark. So that was my pick. Matt, what you got for least effective other than all of them?
The Mayo commercial with Pete Davidson. I'm just sick of seeing that guy. I'm just going to be honest with you. Pete Davidson bugs me.
And they acknowledged it.
Hopefully he listens to the podcast and I've made a friend, but kind of sick of Pete Davidson, not going to lie.
And they acknowledged it in the commercial. I know I'm hittable. You are.
He is, but I just don't want to see a commercial even with him. You know, it's just, I'm kind of done with it. Him and Kevin Hart and The Rock for that matter. We can fight about that later. But
so it's this lineman is tackling people at this party, hunting them down and tackling them. And it's kind of a play on one of my all-time favorite commercials, The Office linebacker, Terry Tate, back in the day.
Right. It's a little bit of a ripoff, too. That's the other thing that kind of makes it irritating and least effective.
I'm with you. That commercial made me mad more than anything. Nice.
And the fact that I like that mayonnaise.
Didn't you pick up?
Yeah, Hellman's is a good product.
Yeah, but didn't you pick up? You could put mayo on any type of garbage and make it great.
Which is kind of
That's what I took away from it.
I didn't take any. I just said they plagiarized the idea, and Pete Davidson, I'm tired of seeing his face, so I'm kind of with Matt on this.
Yeah. And everybody likes Best Foods, or I guess Hellman's. It's Hellman's in the East, right? And Best Foods over here in the West. But kind of irritated me because I like that mayonnaise too. So that's the one for me.
Okay, so those are great picks for least effective. Maybe you disagree. Let us know on Facebook. Let us know on social media, on YouTube. Let us know if we got it wrong. What I'd like to do next, or what we're going to do next, is we're going to transition into our favorites. What really, really entertained you, or I guess you'll give your reasons. I'd like to first rattle off what USA Today's Ad Meter listed as their top 10. Again, they have a lot of metrics that go into this. Starting at 10 and working our way down to 1, we've got the E-Trade baby off the grid. So we saw the return of the E-Trade baby. Toyota did a truck commercial with the Joneses. That's a fun one to look up. NFL Bring Down the House, where a video game pops out of the screen and they destroy the house. BMW did a Arnold Schwarzenegger and Salma Hayek electric vehicle commercial, one of the 6 electric vehicle commercials that happened. Lay's potato chips, that was kind of a funny one. Paul Rudd, Seth Rogen.
Yeah, I like that one. That was a good one.
Toyota did a brothers commercial, I think they're calling it, where a blind brother or a almost blind brother is helped along by his seeing, the brother who can see, in like a Paralympic type feel good commercial. Kia did an electric vehicle commercial with a robo dog. Number 3, Doritos and Cheetos did Push It. The animals got into the Doritos and Cheetos. Number 2 was Amazon's Mind Reader. With,
that was pretty good, I guess.
Scarlett Johansson and her hubby.
Okay, but let's be honest about the Amazon Mind Reader. They were just trying to call attention away from it by saying, this is crazy. They can totally read my freaking thoughts. I think things, and then it's being recommended to me.
Where's our foil hats? Where's the foil hats?
There's the conspiracy.
There it is.
Right there. Yep.
And you're right. They want to bring attention to it to divert your attention away from it, right? They're like, see, we're making fun of ourselves. It doesn't really happen.
When really they're dead serious. They're dead serious. They're reading your thoughts right now.
Okay, Jeff, we see you. And then number 1.
But by bringing Scarlett Johansson into that made me like the ad.
Yeah. So number one rated commercial on many lists was the Rocket Mortgage Rocket Homes commercial with Barbie. Times is tough in this market. It was a pretty clever one. So
it's kind of clever.
Let's talk about some of the comments we had on Facebook from their favorites. So let's open it up to the people here. A few of us, including a couple of my neighbors, really loved the GM Dr. Evil reunion. I really enjoyed that one. I thought it was
obviously the targeted age group was our demographic, right?
The halftime show, that commercial,
all of it. Yeah.
There's the Cable Guy commercial with Jim Carrey. They came after our demographic for sure. Apparently, they think we have money. Next, we have
the
NFL commercial. Dustin really liked that one. Yeah, that NFL commercial where they tear up the house. That was really funny. A lot of people had some comments on the Coinbase commercial. They were confused by it or they didn't get it. And I totally get that. It was just a floating box. What are we supposed to do with that? We had Amazon Mind Reader.
Yeah, back to that NFL commercial, though. I thought it was selling a video game, and I was getting really excited to go buy that video game. And then I was very disappointed when it was just a commercial advertising the NFL.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was a little confusing in that regard.
Yeah, I didn't know what they were trying to sell either. I thought it was hilarious. And Grandma stood up for the kids at the end. That was kind of funny. Sweetness, Walter Payton scoring the touchdown.
Gotta love Walter Payton for sure.
That was really cool. My wife really liked the Amazon Mind Reader one. It was funny. It was very clever. Sean, my brother-in-law, and I really, really loved the Joneses, Keeping Up with the Joneses Toyota Tundra commercial. Almost made me want to go out and get one. My brother mentioned some commercials that didn't even air. So thanks a lot, Kyle. So let's talk about our favorites.
It's such a brother thing to do.
I'll punch you later. Bob, what was your favorite?
So I really liked the Uber Eats commercial. So this commercial was all about celebrities. They were eating stuff that they got from Uber Eats that clearly wasn't edible. They had some candles, soap. I really liked the kitty litter, and he just kept eating it. Aluminum foil, diapers,
lipstick.
This was just a really effective way to let everyone know that you can order more than food through Uber Eats. Nice. Although the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission was not as pleased with the commercial, and they posted on their Twitter feed, "Do not eat soap."
Or lipstick or
again had some annoying
the government
people
didn't think it was nearly as funny as I did. But that was funny though, because they are annoying and they're kind of stupid. So watching them eat that stuff, I think, just sold it.
Yeah, they had some B-listers in there. And I thought it was super effective. This could have been your effective pick too, but it was funny, and that was your favorite.
It was funny.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah, I liked it.
I thought it was super effective as well. Absolutely. My pick is It's the Barbie dream house. I'm going with the Rocket Mortgage introducing a new product called Rocket Homes that'll notify you when a house is available in your area. Because this market is nuts, absolutely nuts. And so they played off of Barbie trying to buy a dream house with a bunch of vultures coming in, and it was really funny. You should go check that out on YouTube.
Yeah, good pick.
Close runner-up was the FTX Larry David commercial. I thought that for some reason that just really hit my funny bone. Matt,
I'm going to go with the Willie Nelson Skechers commercial.
Oh, okay.
Just because I like Willie Nelson. You know, who doesn't? Who doesn't like Willie? And if you don't, you don't know.
Glad he's still around. Yeah.
Then
Yeah, that was good.
If you don't like Willie.
The runner-up for me was the Budweiser Clydesdale commercial.
Wow. You were here to feel.
Yeah.
Huh.
I felt it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the
and Robert, you can
Clydesdale...
fight me. I know you have a problem with that, but I'm telling you, bring it, buddy. Because I don't think you're understanding really what they were trying to get at in that commercial.
So just breaking it down.
The horse is basically representative of America, right? This is what I'm telling you. America has been injured and hurt and is down, and you can find whatever reason you want for that. I think what they were getting at is the pandemic, but I feel like that was the deep meaning behind it.
Yep. Let's talk about a time when companies did take a little bit more chance, put a little bit more edge to what they were doing here, a little more butter on their toast, so to speak. So let's talk about our all-time Super Bowl favorite. Let's open up the time capsule here. And that's really what we're doing. You can look at a specific year, look at the commercials that happened during the Super Bowl, and you'll kind of know what's going on in America that year based on what these commercials are. It's kind of like a time capsule. So Bob, do you have an all-time favorite?
I do. I'm going to take you in the Wayback Machine to 1998. And I don't know what was going on in America at the time or what story it's trying to
NSYNC,
tell.
Backstreet Boys,
But
Clinton. Okay.
Yeah, well, this commercial didn't sell any of that stuff. This is just a priceless commercial. I don't think it brought any politics or anything in. But the scene starts with this guy sitting on his porch. He's got a big slice of pizza. He's got a bottle of Tabasco sauce, and he's just laying that on liberally, like all over that piece of pizza. And then a mosquito comes, and the camera zooms in. You see the mosquito just stick his little stinger in there. He sucks out the blood, and if he flies off in the distance, all of a sudden, boom. The mosquito blows up.
That's a great one.
That's so
and
good.
I tell you what, for the last however many years, last 32 years, whatever, I guess I can't do math, like
24 years,
whatever.
Yeah, you're good.
Mathematicians do that for me.
24. Good.
But for the last quite a few years, I have always remembered that every time I see a bottle of Tabasco sauce. So when I think hot sauce, think Tabasco.
That's
awesome. And then I think a mosquito blowing up. So even though other hot sauces may be superior in flavor and temperature and stuff, I'm going to choose Tabasco sauce because of that commercial.
Especially when there's summertime, mosquitoes around. Maybe one of them will blow up and reenact that for you. Then, okay.
Hopefully.
That's such a good one.
Yeah.
Such a good one. Everybody go look that up on YouTube. So my pick, I love the Betty White Snickers commercial. I love the Bud Light Cedric the Entertainer commercial. If you want to Google or YouTube those. It came down to these two, and I'm having trouble narrowing it down to one. My most nostalgic pick is the McDonald's Michael Jordan versus Larry Bird when they're playing horse.
What's in the bag? Lunch. Big Mac, fries. Play you for it. You and me for my Big Mac. First one to miss, what does the winner eat? No dunking. Off the floor, off the scoreboard, off the bank board, no rim.
And they just keep one up in each other. They end up outside of the stadium. And then there's commercials that come years after where they're on the moon. It just takes you back.
Well, didn't you as a kid, like, really think about your superstars doing a game of horse? I did.
Yes,
so I think that's why that one hit home.
We reenacted
that. Would be cool.
My dad reenacted that with us. Like, that's how effective that commercial was. It was one of his favorite players, Larry Bird, versus my generation's player and Michael Jordan in a commercial over a Big Mac. Come on. And then Reebok's Terry Tate office linebacker, which Hellman's plagiarized. I laugh my butt off when I see that. Okay, so those are my all-time favorites. Matt, what you got?
Yeah, I think Budweiser has to be the clear winner over all-time Super Bowl commercials. And my favorites are the Frogs.
Bud.
Wise.
Wow. Take 50.
Heck yeah.
All right.
First time.
So that one has to be all-time favorite for me. The runner-up is also a Budweiser commercial, and it's the friends calling each other on the phone, and the one guy says, "Wassup? Wassup? Wassup?"
Hold on.
Hello?
So what's up, B? Watching the game, having a bud. True.
That's so good.
Oh my God.
Great
That
pick.
was way better than the commercial.
For sure. But that one had us as friends, calling each other all the time. What's up?
So, they're yelling at each other down the hallway at school.
For sure. So
every day.
that's my runner-up.
What a great pick. And that's you want to talk about all-time greats. I mean, that's at the top of the list.
We're
That's
still
awesome.
talking about it in 2022, so they must have done something right.
Yeah, well, they've done something wrong because now they're trying to make you feel feelings
That's okay.
with Clydesdales and dogs. I'm
I'm in
throwing it
touch
out
with
there.
my feelings.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not. Well, we've made it to the end. What do you think, Bob? How'd we do?
So that's it for today's episode of the Assuminati podcast, where we talked about the commercials from Super Bowl 56. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. Join us again next week for a lesson on cryptocurrency, or what I'd say is crypto for dummies. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, or even go to YouTube. But share with your friends, your family, like us on Facebook, comment what you thought of today's episode. Until next week, have a great one.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Rub some mayo all over the garbage in my fridge to make it fresh.
Well, that's just a normal Tuesday night for you, Bob. So I don't know what you're talking. Uh-oh, we lost everybody.
Where'd your face go, Matt?
We lost everybody.
I'm coming back at you
lose
right
me?
now. Just hang on. Just hang on.
Coming back at you.
Start a revolution.
Matt's gone into the dark.
Here I am.
I don't know what happened to the horse, but he clearly didn't break his leg because they would have shot him. That's what you do to a horse with a broken leg.
But see, that's what I'm telling you. You
Two,
can't do that
I
to
think
America.
he got stung.
You're not going to just shoot America.
Well, if
just
he
give
broke
up
a
on America,
freaking
right?
leg, they would have put a big cast on it. They would have had him propped up so that he couldn't put any weight on it. Like, he didn't break his freaking leg. He got stung by a freaking bee, and he is a tough enough horse. He didn't need to be laying on his butt. Like, they overplayed
It's a
this
parable.
injury, and
It's
that
an
was
analogy.
too much for me.
Bud.
Wise.
Wise.
Oh, you're supposed to say dum dum.
Do it again. Bud.
Okay. Wise.
Brandon Feld. Let's go,
Gosh,
Brandon.
Robert.
Robert, you're lagging big time, bro.
Oh, crap.
We
Let's
nailed
go,
it.
Robert.
We nailed it.
It's killing me.
Okay.
All right, do it one more time, Brandon.
You
All
start
right,
it.
let's
Robert,
try again.
You start with Bud, Robert.
What's up?
What's up?